Hey everybody, Koricon here, and we're talking about episode 7 of Breathe, and this one's called In Its Eyes. Now, this is going to be a spoiler-heavy discussion. All of these individual episode discussions are spoiler-heavy. We're going to talk about everything in the episode, so if you haven't seen the episode, go watch it. Why haven't you seen it yet? Go watch the episode, come back here, and we'll talk about it. Real quick, just wanted to say to Madhavan, get well soon, bro. He had just gotten out of shoulder surgery, posted on Twitter that he couldn't feel his right arm. He was kind of joking about it, but I think everything is cool. He's just got to rest. So get well soon. You know, we want to see some more from you, and we love talking to you about this show on social media. It's really cool that he's interacting with a lot of people over it. So get some rest, come back with a vengeance, and we'll see you soon. This episode opens right where episode 6 left off. Danny had killed donor number 5 in the pool, and Kabir is now investigating at the pool, and he's following his gut. He thinks Danny is the murderer, but he can't prove it. It's more of just a gut feeling. And the partner points out that Kabir had reduced his drinking, so like his obsession over trying to solve this case is making it to where he doesn't need to drink as much. Mostly, I think, because it's taking his mind off of his daughter, and whenever he thinks of his daughter, that's when he drinks. So he's able to forget, or not forget, but push that part out of his head and just concentrate solely on this case. It like absorbed, it took over his entire being, and now he doesn't need alcohol. But they're going over the security footage at the pool, and they say that there's a 15-minute gap of where the security cameras go out, which is when the electricity goes out. And if you watched my last episode on 6, I was breaking down some of the time based on the movies that he was showing. So when he was showing the 2 guys that could see at the blind school, he was showing them Akshay Kumar's movie AIRLIFT. And the scene that we saw from that movie that they were watching on the screen was from the beginning of the movie. So he had about 2 hours. Then, and they say that in the episode, then when he's with the blind kids and he's translating what's going on screen, he's doing the silent film, The Circus, which is Charlie Chaplin's silent film, which is 1 hour and 10 minutes long, about. Now I was like, well, the part that they're showing that he's translating was with him with the lion. And that's about 38 minutes into that movie. That gives him another 30 minutes gap. And I was like, I don't know if he would have enough time to go and kill the guy and come back. That's what I was thinking. But that 15 minutes also doesn't take into account the amount of time it would take someone else to go and change the fuse to turn the lights back on. So Danny would get there, he would take the fuse out, turn the lights off, kill donor number 5, drown him in the pool, and then he would leave. And then there's some time in there for someone else to figure out how to turn the lights back on. But we know that it was cut out for 15 minutes. So we'll just say 15 minutes, just to be safe. Then they showed a map of where the blind school kids were and where the pool was. And I thought that was really interesting that they showed us the map, so we could even tell what time difference. I was looking at Google Maps and I figured out it would be about 15 minutes. He would have a 15-minute travel time to there and back. So that's 30 minutes of just travel time. Then with the 15 minutes of footage, that's about 45 minutes. So he has a realistic time scale of 45 minutes to get there, kill donor number 5, and then come back. So now Kabir is convinced that it's Danny. And he goes to the blind school and he's slapping him all over the yard, trying to get him to confess. And they're intercutting that with a backflash of how he had pulled off leaving. And they show him plugging the microphone into a cell phone. And so it is doing what I thought it was going to do in episode 6, where he's playing a recording of himself. And then they show him setting up this mannequin with a wig and a hat and everything. And there was this nice little touch. Just like I say with a lot of the other episodes, I like some of these little details that they throw in there. But they had this nice little touch of him quietly spraying some of his cologne on the mannequin. And I loved that because, yeah, you're in a room full of blind kids. So all of their other senses are super heightened. Smell, hearing, all that kind of stuff. So you're muffling your sound of putting the mannequin down. He's very quiet about everything. He's very careful to be very quiet. But you have the loudness of the music and him talking. It's kind of more distracting. They're paying attention to what the movie would be. But the smell, his smell, they would notice if he was gone. So to put his cologne scent on the mannequin was really smart, and I loved that little detail. So Kabir is still slapping him around the yard, trying to get him to confess, and they're intercutting again with some more backflashes of Danny coming back to the scene. He comes back to the blind school, and they show a scene, but it's not from the circus anymore. This is a different Charlie Chaplin movie. And this is from a movie from 1918 called A Dog's Life. And it's about 33 minutes long. And the scene that they're showing is this famous sequence of him stealing the bread from the shop owner. And that happens about 11 minutes into that movie. So this means that you have the two guys watching Akshay Kumar's movie AIRLIFT for 2 hours. And so he was showing two Charlie Chaplin movies, one back to back. And that expands his time. That adds another 10 minutes to what we thought before. And it makes it to where that 45-minute gap of 15 minutes to drive, 15 minutes of security footage missing, and 15-minute drive back, 45 minutes fits the time of the movie, both movies. The time fits, and I loved that. I really loved that they spent enough time on the details of knowing what part of the movie is showing to make the time scale fit. I mean, that's a lot of thought going into the details of just little things, very little things, that most people are not going to analyze that deep, unless you're me. But most people are not going to notice or care what is on the screen because it's the drama of what's going on. So the fact that they took into consideration that there might be like a handful of people watching the show going, oh, I wonder if this time fits in. And they had thought of that ahead of time to where they did make it work. I was surprised. I thought that, maybe I'll figure something out, by analyzing these movies. And no, they made it work. They made it work, and it fits perfectly in there to where it's reasonable. Good job. Good job. So Kabir stops slapping him around, and Danny's all bloodied up now, and he basically says, arrest me. Go for it. Basically calls his bluff. Says, arrest me. He knows that he doesn't have enough to arrest him, or he would have arrested him already. He was just trying to beat a confession out of him. And points out that if he's wrong, the real killer is out there. And then they cut to the opening credits when Kabir walks off. Then we had a short scene where the police chief visits Kabir at his house, and he's kind of turned it into his office. He's got all of the evidence and the reports and all of the stuff on the wall where he's trying to figure out what's going on. And so he's kind of moved everything out of the police station and into his house. And the police chief is like, look, you're neglecting your responsibilities as a senior investigator. The payroll's not going to be paid this month because of it. Basically berating him. And then Kabir just says, hey, protecting Raya means more to him than the job. And now the police chief feels degraded because he knows that he doesn't have control over what Kabir is going to do anymore. And the police chief kind of whispers to him, why would you do that in front of these people? Because Kabir's partner and the chief's assistant was there. He's like, no one is going to respect me anymore. Like, he's not going to be able to hold any kind of weight at the station. People are going to listen to him because he can't control Kabir. Danny and Josh's doctor / his girlfriend they've been on a couple of dates. They were very friendly. She confronts him about donor number 1. They were out on a walk, and he can see that she knows, and he just says, did you tell anyone? And they had a moment of silent acting where they're just reading each other's facial expressions, and there's a pause, and she goes, even the other donors, like she didn't even take into consideration that the other donors were not accidents, that he had killed them as well. And then he just pushed her in front of a moving car. Oh my gosh. So I'm going to recreate what my face did, because I'm typing my notes while I'm watching the episode and everything. That happens, and it's just like, da da da. What? I was not expecting him to do that. It was a huge shock. What a great like shocking moment right there. I wasn't expecting that. And it was very sudden too. It wasn't like he planned on killing her. It was a spur of the moment thing, like whoop. It's like, wow. The killings are really weighing on him now. Like he's not just seeing it as a way of, helping his son or getting his son the organ so he can save him. It's becoming a default position to where now he doesn't have a problem killing anybody that even gets in the way of him trying to, finish killing the donors. And it's almost an auto response, which is not good. It is not good at all. The mother walks into Danny asleep on the bed and wakes him up and tells him that she had died. And the facial acting, non-speaking acting, I guess you would say, the look of his shock, even though he's the one that killed her, but the look of genuine shock. And then when the mom turns around and she leaves, his look didn't just go to cold. Which a lot of movies would do that, where he's like, what? And then when she's gone, be like, huh. But he went from shock, pretend shock, to sadness, and then to cold. So you could see there's still some humanity there, to where he feels bad about what he did, but then quickly drops into an emotionless state. So I liked that they added that extra level. It added a lot to his character. That he went from pretend shock to sadness over her death to just cold that it had to be done. Kabir goes to the hospital, and donor number 5 is not dead. He did not die in the pool. They were able to save him, and they removed the water from his lungs. And when Kabir was talking to the donor's wife, she was on the phone with him when he was in the bathroom. And he's like, anything you can remember, no matter how small you think it is, it could help us with the case. And she remembered when she was talking to him on the phone that there was another person. Someone greeted him when he was on the phone with her. And so they get a copy of some of the security camera footage, and you can hear the audio of him on the phone in the background. And so they strip the audio, and they're enhancing it and working with the audio. And you could hear another voice. And the voice they hear was from one of the guys that they interviewed that was on the recipient list. And they see security footage of Rao going to his car, leaving, coming back, and parking his car. And my immediate thought was, oh, that's Danny in a wig. But it did look very convincing from a security camera point of view, and I can see why they think it's Rao. I mean, they have no reason to question it, really. And the partner gets a call from the hospital that donor number 5 won't survive. And if they call it a murder, then no one gets the organs. But he's still alive at this point. The chief calls because they arrested Rao, and they're taking him to an undisclosed location to kind of get him to confess, and says, if you don't bring Rao to the police station in 15 minutes, then he's suspended. And so Kabir and his partner basically ignore that, and they go to this abandoned warehouse, and Kabir loses control. He loses all control on Rao and is just obsessively beating this guy, trying to make him confess. And he's to the point where he's like, just tell me what I was supposed to have done. I'll confess to anything you want. Just don't beat me anymore. Danny sees a news report that donor number 5 died, but that it's a murder, so nobody is going to get the organs. And he goes over to the table. His mom's going over bills. She's wondering where some of these strange purchases come from. And he basically tells her, I'll take care of it, don't worry about it. And he's giving his son some medicine, liquid medicine. And his son says, Dada, are you okay? And this kid is so cute. I can understand why you would want to kill to save his life. Every time he is on screen, I'm like, oh, I totally get it. I totally get why he's doing all this stuff. He's just too damn cute. And Danny is trying not to show emotion in front of his son, but it's really hard to do.
Dada, are you okay?
I mean, it's hard for Madhavan to show those kind of emotions without speaking. And that's one of the things that I really like about a lot of these characters, Kabir and Danny in particular, that they're able to show so much without speaking. And that's a great talent. That means that they're good actors. But it's got to make it a little bit easier with that kid being that cute to be able to do those range of emotions, because he's a good bouncing acting off of. So we got a completion of the small, weird little storyline of Kabir's partner having impotency problems, to where in the first episode you see him like looking at porn on his phone, and then in one of the other episodes they had the humorous moment of him talking with his girlfriend or his wife, and he's got the vibrator that goes off. That was kind of funny. And now he's talking, he's all excited, he hugs Kabir and he's like, the machinery is working again.
सर
क्या अरे जल्दी वापस आ जाऊंगा क्या हो गया
नहीं वो बात नहीं सर बात करनी थी
हाँ बोलिए
सर मशीनरी चल पड़ी कल
हाँ हाँ
So we got a 3-point story arc of Kabir's partner's sexual impotency, and it actually made the other two scenes kind of make it worth it, where I didn't feel that they were, at the moment they felt out of place. But like I said in that other episode where they had the vibrator thing, although I thought it was strange and out of place and just out of nowhere, if they did make it make sense later on, then I would be okay with it. And they did. They made it make sense. It completed the little arc over his sexual impotency, and so I'm okay with it in hindsight. But it is a strange little storyline to weave into this dramatic TV show, to have the partner have this kind of humorous impotency problem. But oh, that's cool. Kabir visits Raya at her house, and you know, now it's very apparent Danny has to kill Raya to save his son. She's the only one left. But he's got to make it not look like a murder. How's he going to pull that off? I mean, we'll find out in the next episode, but it's like, wow. And Kabir comes outside Raya's house, and he's about to get in the car, and he calls Danny to apologize for thinking that he was the murderer. Tells him that he's going on a trip. More of like Danny overhears somebody talking from the car, and that's how he finds out that he's going on a trip. But when he leaves, you see Danny walk out from the left side of the camera. He was back there the whole time. And the music is playing, and he's standing in front of the house, and then Raya comes out, and he's on his phone taking pictures of her or whatever else he was doing. And she walks by, and then they have the moment in the trailer of her walking in front of the camera and Danny looking at her all intensely. So, yeah, I mean, it was a great wrap-up for episode 7. We got a completion of the partner's sexual impotency, which was weird. We got an answer to, did he have enough time to go and drown donor number 5? And yeah, he did. The movies, the 2 Charlie Chaplin films, Akshay Kumar's AIRLIFT, the amount of time that he had to drive there, do it, and come back, all fit perfect. I'm surprised. I think a lot of movies and TV shows would not spend the time to get that precise on things that are playing in the background. So I'm really impressed with that. That impressed me the most in this episode. But the death of, where he just pushed her in front of the car, that made my jaw drop. But what do you guys think? We got episode 8 coming out. Well, episode 8's already out, but I'll be doing my video for episode 8 to wrap up the series. That should be coming out soon, probably Friday or Saturday, whenever I can get to it and get it done. But comment below and let me know your thoughts on this episode. What did you think when he pushed her in front of the car? What do you think about my kind of little breakdown of the movies and the timepieces and all, did I analyze it too much? But let me know what your thoughts on this episode, and fill it with spoilers. It's all good down there. If you haven't seen the show, don't read the comments, and I don't know why you watched this far anyway. But like, share, and subscribe. Tell your friends. And I will see you on the next video. Quick promotion, everybody. I'm having fun using the Stardust app, which allows you to make up to a 30-second reaction to movies and TV shows, and I'd love to see your reactions and put them in my videos. If you're interested in that, download the Stardust app. I've got a link to it in the description below, and make sure to follow Koricon. And whenever you make a reaction, make sure that you tag Koricon so that I get notified and can see it. Whenever I make a reaction video or a movie review, and I see your video, I will take clips from it and put them in my video. If you're a YouTuber, make sure to put your YouTube channel name on your reaction if you want free promotion. And if you're a fan of my channel and just want to be in there, great. So tag me on your reactions. And to be totally transparent and honest with you guys, when you download the Stardust app, the first person that you follow gets credit for the download. So if you want to follow me and give me credit, make sure that you follow me first. If you want to give your favorite YouTuber a credit, make sure that you follow them first. But either way, make sure that you follow me at some point and tag me in your reactions so I can get them in the videos.